are the engineers, the doctors, the Zogos, the Zogis, and our youth in our community.
Institutions like the educational sector, the health sector, and the economy as a whole.
The society, agriculture, travel, and the industrial society.
Human rights and democracy.
Trust me, it's
Bit by bit.
Bit by bit.
Oh yes, it's bit by bit.
It is a professional discussion that talks about issues, happenings that improves or strengthens the capabilities of
Individuals such as the engineers, the doctors, the Zogos, the Zogis, and our youth in our community.
institutions like the educational sector, the health sector, and the economy as a whole.
The society, agriculture, travel, and the industrial society.
Human rights and democracy.
Trust me, it's
Bit by bit.
Good afternoon, people. Welcome back to the Bit by Bit show. As you know, it is a professional and social discussion.
This professional discussion, so I am better referred to as Martin J. Rogers. Today we have with us our beautiful guest, very intelligent, smart. I don't know how far should I go with it. This is a professional discussion, so I'm going to start right there and let her introduce herself.
My name is Josilia J. Tapla. I am the Vice President for the Engineering Society of Liberia. I'm a former instructor for Stella Maris Polytechnic. I'm also a member of the Liberian Association of Chinese Trained Scholars. I'm the Vice President there also. And I work for the Ministry of Public Works as the National Zoning Director.
Wow. Before we proceed, why every time you always let so much praises? Why?
Why not?
I know she's beautiful. Everybody watching knows that she's beautiful.
Deserve it.
I know.
You heard her profile?
I heard that. I know that.
That's great.
Firstly, she was my senior at the Stella Maris Polytechnic.
That's good.
Yeah. Anyway, Miss Tapla, it's good to have you on our show today.
I think I like the first name basic, so Martina. And then it's good to stay on the first name basic because it gives you a kind of relaxed atmosphere to have a clear discussion on the issues that will be discussed today. So Josilia will do fine.
Josilia will do fine, she said. But anyway, before we get to our show, the topic on the discussion today is female participation in engineering and road connectivity. We're going to have 2 minutes of what on your mind, and then we'll take our break and get to our topic. Thanks.
No,
Alcohol will also. So we're gonna have 2 minutes each of what's on your mind. Then we're gonna go straight into serious business. How do you feel today? What's on your mind? Or you care to talk anything?
I feel really great, and this is a really, really great opportunity for me and even others that are watching us, because finding a female in her position and with all the capacity she has served, I'm honored. to be seated here today.
I'm flattered, really.
Really?
I'm just trying to do my best to give back as much as we have received from the society in general.
Okay.
So give her
hard
2 minutes.
work.
Okay,
what
so
you have on mind?
what's on my mind? The topic in question is dear to me because I have lived my dream. I have seen women in engineering grow from 1, 2, 3 to at most as almost over 145 females now studying engineering. That is a plus for us because a few years back we envisioned an organization called the Society of Women Engineers in Liberia. And in 2013 we got together, young graduates got together and put together that organization to help encourage young women into the field of STEM. So from having like 5 to 10 graduates from Stella Maris and maybe UL, today we have over 145 young ladies that all have engineers. The statistics range from 45 civil engineers, females, to 1 person studying transportation engineering. So it will diversify to our topic gradually, and I will give you some of the issues that will be discussed when it comes to road connectivity and role as an infrastructure for like what it means to Liberia and the role female played in road infrastructure. And today we are fortunate that we have the Minister of Public Works to be the second female to be Minister of Public Works. We had Antoinette Antoinette serving as minister. Most often we boast about the Bambagida, however, how many people in Liberia know that one of the persons on that project was Wade Merchant, who was one of the key project person on that project. She's a female and she's into the field of engineering and scientists. Okay. How many persons know that Alpha Brandel was the first female architect in Liberia?
So we're going to hold you right there. You're going to give her more detail when we get to that point.
Okay.
Anyway, everybody have said what's on their mind. As for me, all that's on my mind today, I really want to know the involvement, how strong, how vibrant, how encouraged Liberian females are when it comes to engineering. But we're going to hold you right there. We're going to take our break. When we get back again on the Bed by Bed show, if you're just joining us, we are on Satcom Channel 4, or you can follow us on Facebook. Just spell the boss with the triple S. The Bed by Bed show. We're going to take our break. When we get back, straight to our topic.
Bit by bit.
Oh yes, it's bit by bit.
It is a professional discussion that talks about issues, happenings that improves or strengthens the capabilities of
Individuals such as the engineers, the doctors, the Zogos, the Zogis, and our youths in our community.
institutions like the educational sector, the health sector, and the economy as a whole.
The society, agriculture, travel, and the industrial society.
Human rights and democracy.
Trust me, it's
Bit by
by
bit.
Honorable VP, just here. When we went for our break, something happens and you people, I hope people are not going to do it on a female level here today to me.
Actually, it's not going to happen. I think male has been dominant for quite a while now, so there's no need to feel intimidated. We are 2 beautiful ladies here. I think we can handle you just quite well.
For real?
But we will not tend to overshadow you.
She always does that.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Okay. So, I really want to know where the inspiration came from, like how this whole journey started.
You see now, wait. Today, I'm not going to allow this thing to be all about just female.
Okay.
We're going to do this for one justice today, all right? How are we going to do this for one justice? Because, trust me, she's pretending. She's prepared to bombard you with questions. So, but how about engineering in terms of, you know, your gender, and then things going to start to bombard you a question, or maybe things can also have a feelings in terms of discussion about 5-minute discussion on engineering in Liberia, whatever she wants to, what's her thinking, her feelings about it.
I think
I'm going to also give my views and feelings about it. Then we'll come back to the question and answer.
So I think I will start with her first question, and that's
No, we're not going to start from question. You're going to explain to us your
how
about
I got into
engineering.
How I got into engineering. I did not want to become an engineer, and that's the beauty of it. I wanted to become a medical doctor. I was a science student, so I didn't dream of becoming an engineer. But then I was advised by a lady who used to teach at JJ Rappers. She now is the proprietor for a school in Stephen Tower Estate, which is Catherine Boy Swin. And she told me, she said, life sometimes is not about what you want to be, it's what you can be. And I normally give that advice when I'm having career talk to young people. There's vast opportunities available to a lot of young women, and we all aspire to be something. But then we don't see how our own individual capabilities affect the career we choose. Sometimes you have passion, for example, you see yourself having passion for different thing, and then your parents driving you into something else. So it's what you can be, what you best at, what. And then they saw in me that, okay, I was good in math, I was good in science, I had this tomboyish attitude, so definitely, and I don't regret doing engineering since I made a decision in 2001. So it became a profession. I liked it, I enjoyed doing it. So I was as we progressed gradually, as soon as we reached senior, I was the only female in a class of 10 male. So it only made me to want to achieve more, not to be among the least, and to feel that I was not accepted by my male counterparts. Instead, I was I like the word of president, I was a formidable force. So my classmates respected me, and they still do respect me because of who I was in class and how I participated with the boys, the male counterparts, because they are your partners. They there to strengthen you. They there because sometimes we can get so emotional, and but they were there all through every step of the way. So I had great men like the Dylan O'Brien, who hosts a show on Hot FM. I had Nari Bati and some other guys who I met us in other places now for my support and my classmates. Moreover, then I started to work, and the more I work in the field, then I wanted to become something else, something more. So I went for a master's and did a master's in China and got a master's in geotechnical engineering. Diving me back to the topic to discuss engineering, I think we have more room for a lot of people to aspire to be engineers. Why? Our infrastructure development, especially when it comes to road connectivity, is still in its primary stage. Meaning we have more than 75% of our road network unpaved, whether it's primary road or secondary or feeder roads, the one that feed into the community. We have more than 75% unpaved. So there's still room for a lot of people to take on engineering, especially road engineering, as a career path. Now, my understanding from teaching in the classroom to seeing kids go to school and advising to do master's program, I think that road infrastructure itself in Liberia is cost intensive, and it's a capital investment, but then the economic benefit is high, because when you give roads, you provide other opportunities, you reduce greenhouse gas emission because the wait period in traffic reduces. The more we have traffic, the more we build up greenhouse gas emissions. Mind you, we're having cars that come to Liberia that are old, but they are all intertwined. Yeah, so they are all intertwined. So we have that problem and with the road connectivity. So for now, for example, if I want to leave from here, from Old Road, to go to Somala Drive, I will have to either go SKD Boulevard or I go through town. Whereas there should be a short route between SKD Boulevard to commute to Somala Drive, right? Yeah. So if there was road connectivity, then we could have solved that problem by reducing the amount of emission that would take us the time to go there. The second issue, how do we achieve this? it's capital intensive. That means we need more investment from national government and multilateral partners. So, and another thing we could try to do as a nation, I think in my mind, as speaking from a professional engineering background, is we should try to seek more incentive from the public-private partnership that's been done all across Africa. People are trying to dive more into PPP because that way you can have to pay back the road through tolls. So it's no longer free. The people themselves pay for the road over a period of time. That can be done. The next issue I see with road problem in Liberia, whether it's maintenance or construction, is the fact that the people who doing the road construction are international experts with local experts partnering with them. One, we do not have, till date, we do not have the requisite capacity, I'm speaking as a person from the engineering studies standpoint, to fully take on road project for Liberian businesses. One, for you to have a complete network of team for you to handle a road project, meaning you have to have a transportation engineer, a structural engineer, geotech engineer, soil technician, material engineer, which we do not have. I work with municipal works. I don't think we have people, maybe if we don't have as much as 2 or 3 persons that specialize in material engineering. So what do we do as a nation? We can go across the country, see students with good grades in WIAC, and then try to liaise with the national government to have a policy, a national plan on how we can improve infrastructure development, because it's a holistic approach. If you leave one sector and only focus on civil engineers, you're missing the ballpark. You need material engineers, you need soil technicians, you need transportation engineers, you need highway engineers, you need hydrology engineers. So then you have a holistic approach to national development. For example, before the war, I knew they had road maintenance center across regions. So how then can we build the capacity of the road maintenance center across the regions?
Okay.
So we're gonna hold you right there. You're gonna talk enough today. Today is your day, because you are female and there are a lot of women who out there want to get inspiration from you into the engineering field. But we're gonna turn to things. Let things just explain to us a little bit. What do you understand about engineering? Then we'll come to the question and answer part after.
I'm going to count there, right? But this topic focus on her participation, especially the females. So me using her, it's about the females.
Okay.
So I asked you a question about your childhood, like what inspired you.
Just tell us, what do you know about engineering? You come to the question part.
That of which you gave some examples about. So the issue here is we had a discussion here before that the engineering field is very, very wide.
It's open, big.
Like, so everything that we do as a human, we need engineers for everything. The light, the chairs, like whatsoever we involve into, we need engineers for everything. So I know about that. But then going back to the topic, right? I'm really like interested in knowing why you were in school. I mean, like, because sometimes when girls are scoring higher grades in school, you turn to be bullied by others, and even sometimes your the other females were like, oh, poor Jimmy, poor Katia. Like, how did you fight yourself all through that time? Like, how you fought? Like,
it's amazing that the College of Engineering do not have a lot of bullies like other schools, like other colleges. So you won't find people trying to bully you, because the first thing, engineering by itself is challenging. You have to be good in math, you have to be good in the sciences. So you won't have people bullying you to say, okay, you are both Jimmy, you are both this, you are both that. In fact, what I did most often when I was in school, I was one of the heads for the Technical College Education Committee at the time, so I was going back to classes to teach, to tutor people on campus. Most of the time I was doing tutoring on campus, because you don't want people paying a lot of money, you don't want your colleagues left back. It's actually appreciated that you are female. So even now, when you're teaching your woman, or whoever teaching engineering, or your classmate teaching engineering, it's like engineering is a teamwork. So nobody feel like they have that total authority over a particular course. You may understand a subject. For example, I was teaching soil mechanics in St. Mary's. So somebody may understand the pore pressure analysis. about the water in soil. Another person may understand how you can calculate the stress in the
Structure.
soil. Somebody may understand how you can calculate the structure in the soil. So when it comes to giving tests, you teach your part, you understand. I can tutor my part, I understand. The next person can tutor their part, they understand. That is how it is done. So there's nothing as bullying, and I don't think I was ever bullied. I don't look like somebody that can be bullied, first of all.
I know.
I cannot be
I
bullied.
witness that. I witness
No,
that.
I cannot be bullied. I've always had this self-confidence. It's not to say I'm arrogant, but I have this self-confidence that you have to give yourself positive affirmation to be sure of who you are as a person.
You have
Even if not an engineer, but as a female, you have to tell yourself every day, I'm smart, I'm strong, I'm beautiful. You affirm yourself, then you build your own confidence. Because
Self-motivation.
there's nothing you do. You can't sell anything you don't have.
True.
Yeah.
No, you can't. So even if I'm selling, if for example, I used to tell my students, I said, look, even if you're an engineer, you got to make presentation, right? I can't tell you that you must pay a horse for 200,000 when I can't convince myself that horse is worth 200,000.
1,000.
No, I can't. So it's always good to have that confidence and understand that, look, if somebody else can do this, I too can do this. And in all the years I have taught, I didn't see anybody in my class trying to bully a female. And then I can tell you for sure, from having one female to 10 males, now it's quite competitive. And even me teaching, I found out that the girls were even smarter than the guys now. Even though it was the same way, I mean, I don't want to go back to school days, but now the girls are even more challenging than the guys.
In engineering, how possible it is easily
I'm telling you.
for women to be more
They are domineering
terms
now.
of-
They
Oh,
are
you mean-
begging
you mean
now.
now?
Teaching.
Anyway.
I've taught I taught from 2015 to 2019. I can tell you for sure.
Yeah, I saw that.
surely.
Yeah.
And it's highly competitive that the girls are doing exceedingly well. I can give you students that did very well. Females.
I know few. I know.
Now- So you know.
She was good for just 1 in a million.
Yeah. No, but it's the same. It's now. It's like that. It's that instead of marriage. So the girls are doing well.
Well, anyway, she's here giving self-motivation about female engineering. So I'm going to just talk give few information on what I know and think that engineering is all about. Because you were there with me in Liberia, everybody is engineer.
Of course.
The reason being, the moment you work on somebody, you leave blocks 1 or 2 times or 2-3 months, you move from under your boss, you call yourself engineer.
And you
or
wear
people
white
call
hat.
you engineer.
And you wear white hat.
The first thing talking about helmet, not everybody know the color
And what it means
of
too.
helmet and what it means. You know what I'm saying? So generally, in the negative things that happen in the construction field, people just say,
Blame on the
"Are you a
engineer."
laborer engineer?"
So I can actually let me give you the joke.
It's wrong.
I just returned from graduate school, and then my brother was trying to do something in a yard. You know Nari, right?
I know Nari very
So
well.
Nari is a very close friend, but we refer to each other as brother and sister. So Nari was doing something in the yard, and Nari called me off from in the house. And Jojo, come see something here. So I went out. The guy who's doing the construction has knocked the ground.
For what?
The ground so strong, it can take 5-story
Are
building.
you kidding me?
So I stood there asking, I said, how you determine the ground can take 5-story building? Oh, yeah, you just be woman. What you know about engineering?
That's right.
So my brother went right away and told him, he said, just close your mouth.
Because you don't know her.
Because you don't know. The woman that engineer, my sister, that engineer. Then he went, oh! And I told him, I said, this is how you guys mislead people and people's structures fail because of the poor foundation design. And most often what is done is that they over-design and they under-design.
Yeah.
Because they anticipate that what they're doing, because they're doing soil testing and doing the actual structural calculation based on the bearing capacity, how much weight the soil can take.
They don't even know what you mean by bearing.
So they don't even know
So
what they
just
call
leave
how
that.
much weight the soil can take for you to calculate
They
the
don't even know
design
what
the
you mean by
foundation.
stress.
So they don't know that anything. They don't have no clue. So they'll just tell you that, okay, you're building your house, I will do, they will overestimate that you buy so many steel that you don't even need, that you will need for maybe if you're building a high-rise 10-story building. They will design it for you while you're building 2-story building. And sometimes they will under-design, you will see them putting full, tiny steel, 10 millimeter.
They don't even know the
In the
purpose of the
columns.
steel. They just use it.
and put it in the columns and put it in your house and they give it to you. And sometimes I have seen the people do black corners. You know, they lay it black and put in the corner in wetlands. And then so at the end of the day, you see the whole building, it lay one side and the building's cracked from settlement. So all of those things that I was saying, the mom, I can call them the mom and pop engineers.
The mom and pop engineer, we're going to hold it right there. You and things you guys are giving it to me today. But anyway, we're going to take our break. When we come back, we're going to continue right from where you stop. This is the Bit by Bit show on Satcom Channel 4. You can follow us on Facebook, The Boss with the Triple S. We're going to take our break. When we get back, we're going to get right back to our guests to continue with our points.
Bit by bit.
Oh yes, it's bit by bit.
It is a professional discussion that talks about issues, happenings that improves or strengthens the capabilities of
Individuals such as the engineers, the doctors, the Zogos, the Zogis, and our youth in our community.
institutions like the educational sector, the health sector, and the economy as a whole.
The society, agriculture, travel, and the industrial society.
Human rights and democracy.
Trust me, it's bit by
bit.
Welcome back on the Bit by Bit show. Today's discussion is strictly on engineering, and we are looking particularly on female participation in engineering and road connectivity. No guess. So, I put it to you. Most time, people don't look at engineering to be ladies' job, especially in Liberia. And also, lots of women, they feel challenged to embark their journey about engineering. What motivation have you for them?
Thank you again for that question. I said earlier in my opening statement that we have an organization to encourage young ladies. So we have high school clubs. We have clubs in the university students motivating other young ladies to study engineering from the institution they come from. So, like I said, few years back, there were only few people like the minister, myself, Engineer Dina Cooper Morgan, Engineer Cecilia Davis, Maya Wanwa. There were just few handful, Michelle Weir at Orange, Liberia. So most people did not even know about female engineering. But today we have a lot, thanks to the commissioner at the time for LTA, Commissioner Maria Harrison. You don't even know that she's an engineer. She was the first person to go to have electrical and electronics engineering from UL. She and a lady called Julia Watt.
Okay.
They did electrical engineering. Julia Watt used to work with Unmil as maintenance person for generator. She repaired generator and all. She worked with LEC before, and even Public Works. So there were just group of people that were just small. Today we have over 145. We have been doing a lot of outreach. We have been talking to young ladies, having going on discussion like this. And the Society of Women Engineers just incorporated a new code of officers. Okay. And this year, I think they said they're trying to put 20 or so females in school in different government.
Just from the organization?
From high school. So we started from high school, going back to high school to encourage young ladies to study engineering STEM. So there are people in Tottenham High that are doing drafting, young ladies that are doing drafting. To give them further encouragement, the organization decided to pay their tuition. Yeah. And to give them encouragement to know that you have a backing, because some of us went to school on scholarships. So we were fortunate but there are other people who are in high school that want to go to school, but they don't have the hand. So the organization has created a scholarship slot that they will be helping to pay other people's school fees.
So there's an opportunity there for young
ladies that
come
want
on.
to do, especially when you in high school
And
to go to school.
Things always talk about her love for engineering things. So you there's a scholarship pending for you. What
No,
do you think?
it's for high school students now. We haven't reached the point yet to have a scholarship for. I think the engineering society will gradually dive into that to have scholarship for students to study engineering, maybe at the university that brother can pay tuition for soon. We're working on that. Maybe we'll start working on that gradually for the next budget year after the convention. But I'm sure there are other opportunities for young people now that the University of Liberia is affordable. I think people can try. You can reach out to individuals and you can have help. But the basic thing is yourself must believe that you can.
So before we go to things, you now confirming on the show that the level of engineering or female engineering participation is growing.
Yes,
it's up to a standard right now.
It's growing. It's not enough.
Okay.
Compared to our male. So engineering society have over 500 membership.
Yeah.
And the female are about 145 plus and minus going upward. Okay. So it shows you that it's about 1/3 of the total population for the engineering society.
Yes.
From being less than
10%
to 1/3. That is about 30% of the total membership for engineering society. 30% of the total engineers in this country. 30% are females. That is a good number.
Thanks. Stop doing that feminist thing yet. Come on. You always asking me questions. Now you have a female engineer in the studio today. Talk to her.
Yeah, so like coming up in high school, there was this organization, and I think it's still existing. They call them Smart Liberia, and they created a STEM program on the various campuses, and I think they still is doing it up to now, and even helping students get scholarship to go out there for STEM programs and other stuff. So it's really, you guys have really been trying, and other people have also been in that process with you guys. Just letting you know that there are other organizations as well that is helping in that process.
So you've been following?
I think Girls in Tech too is trying. Yeah. I went to Girls in Tech last graduation. Yeah. So there's Girls in Tech. There's Smart Liberia. There's other people who are really trying to promote the thing about it is STEM has become a global phenomenon.
Okay.
So there's this boy who's the Young Albert, Einstein Forum, the Young Einstein Forum. Yeah. Achi just held a beautiful program some months back on women in STEM, and he had mentors going in to talk to the young ladies. Okay. There were students from college that were still indecisive, and they were doing engineering and STEM program. So everybody else is looking in that direction, because we cannot sustain ourselves when we do not have people into the sciences. For example, even agriculture is an engineering course.
That's true.
So you have agriculture, you got agriculture irrigation engineers. So fisheries have technicals to it too. People who's telling climate conditions, so the weather people. There are several things that just all around that engineering. It's not limited to only civil and
for Liberia,
mining.
For Liberia, it's limited.
Yes, limited. Civil, mining,
the perception of
geology.
Engineering is just a point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got economical engineer as well.
Mm-hmm.
Every type.
So there are a lot of engineer space for everybody to actually get involved into. So I heard a lot about you that I don't know if you will feel comfortable going.
Can you please ask her a question and forget about hearing loud about her?
I don't know.
Today,
I don't know if she'll be comfortable in going into that particular topic.
Is
it about engineering?
If it's around the engineering topic, we can answer that.
Sure.
And so sure.
It is around the engineering topic.
Sure.
Okay.
So I heard that you also stated it as well that you are the zoning director.
Yeah.
So say, just mentioning that not everybody is really aware of zoning engineering, or like you already into the engineering field. So you even saying zoning, like not everybody know about zoning. What's the meaning of zoning? Can you please tell us what's the meaning of
I like
zoning?
to put it in one easy term to say that what go where.
Yeah.
easy term. Zoning is about what
go where?
go where.
Okay.
Simple term.
Alright.
So it's to tell you that that's not every structure that can be built in any community.
Definitely.
So over the years, we have been trying to. One of the things that I've been pushing since I took over the division was to have like a revise of the law with its corresponding map. And thankfully that the World Bank has developed a project that they have under that project, part of the capacity component 2, the component 3 of the capacity development for Liberia on the Liberian Urban Resilient Project. They will be handling that particular aspect on how to update the law and to have the corresponding zoning map. So they have done a feasibility studies of the construction project. So the project, I don't want to dive into the project because I'm not from the project office, but I know I worked on the project during the project preparatory time, so I give a little bit of idea on it, and I know what I envision to have for Liberia. Okay. So it's going to do a lot of changes to our zoning and for the different, so we're getting 5 cities. So it's going to do a lot of different investigation and feasibility studies on the different cities and how they can actually plan those cities, including Monrovia. So what has been happening, a lot of people are not fully aware on what the law says. And the law says every structure greater than 3 square foot must obtain a construction permit. So what I'm saying, the only thing you can see is stop work by MPW, stop work by EPA, but nobody don't understand why they say EPA is stopping you from working, why MPW is stopping you from working. MPW basically stops you from working because, one, your structure may be a non-conforming structure, so people just build anything anyhow. And then the safety about it is when you bring your plane to Public Works, we advise you on the same thing we were discussing earlier on, the structure, design, the electrical component. Most of the fires that happen in Monrovia is because of power wiring. And Public Works have electrical engineers that review the drawing and tell you what wire goes where. The only wire people know in Liberia number 12 wire.
And 10.
Yeah. They don't even understand that the different grades of wire have different work to do. So, for example, you take if you LEC bring a wire to your house, they will tell you say you should buy number 6 wire, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And number 6 wires transfer high voltage to the breaker.
To the breaker.
And then you reduce it to distribute it. You can start changing the wire grades to the different places going in, the kind of tools that will be used there. So we tell you that. We give you advice on that also.
So you distribute to number 10, number 12,
number 8, 14.
Number 8, 14. So which one controls switches?
Then the breakers, the different breakers
heater,
kind will be there. Yes, it will be there. So we give you that kind of advice. Then we also ask you for your power source. When you get a generator, we'll put a panel diagram, the panel distribution diagram all in it. So it's advice to you. That's what we do in the zoning division. We also advise you on, like as I told you about geotechnical engineering, soil conditions. So we advise you, if you're doing offsets building, we'll tell you, look, you have to do soil testing. And based on the soil report, the structural engineers will design the foundation for you on how the steel size should be, the column size. Sometimes when you bring a drawing, even one will write in a drawing and put it correct.
Carry back to your designer
and put the right size in it. We'll write in it to do the correction and put the right size in it to say this, when you put it, it's not 8, you gotta put this 5/8 or this millimeter, 14 or 16 millimeter.
And I also did a research that
just researching.
Yeah, that
I like who you are today.
That also mentioned that as per your position, you guys are responsible to tell the Liberian citizens that this particular spot, you cannot build a factory here, and this no place it's meant for maybe marketing purposes and other stuff. So it's almost like a real.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to you. Yeah. So in for example, the Somali driver classified as industrial zone.
Industrial zone, free zone.
So some years back in 2017, 2016, we're breaking down houses from in the industrial zone. And people felt offended by it, that they build their structures and we are asking them to leave the industrial zone. So today they're still having problem that people are building close to the factory, but they do not understand that it's for their own safety. So you have city built for a steel factory, and you have people in close proximity to the steel factory that have a boiling point of more than 200, 300 degrees Celsius.
Talking about that, you
but
also
the zone
have
is specified, industrial zone is there. So residential community are there. So you have residential community. So in residential community, certain so for example, the urban
it shouldn't have residential buildings around it at all. Because it's
no, residential community does not dispute the fact that you can have public, you can have commercial activities. So the whole urbanization for most places, say you live in the suburbs, like suburbs, complete suburbs, but now most other cities you see the cities itself are mixed use. So you have some light manufacturing activities, you have some heavy commercial activities, and you have residential activity. It's mixed in a city, in a central city. Then you have somewhere called the suburbs. In the suburbs, you can have maybe a little department store here, somewhere like ELW area. So you see in rehab, you see
like a convenience store.
Convenience store. So you see in a long rehab with a convenience store there, but in the communities, these are all residential buildings.
So I didn't want to drive out to zoning, but since you guys are brought it up,
so we're on road as an infrastructure. I was trying to deviate it. Don't go there at all, because that's a big topic by itself.
It's very huge. That's why I didn't want to dive to it. But we're gonna do a little taste of it because this is a
bit by bit
show.
Yeah, I know.
You understand? So, talking about zoning, I know in zoning you still have what you call the building regulation, okay, and then you have the building regulation and in the zoning also. In the zoning law, you also talked about the yard restriction.
Of course, we do.
Okay, so but I have noticed that over the period, maybe somebody watching will say, "But you are engineer, why you didn't do it?" Because I don't have the power. All right, but I have noticed in the past or of recent, you talk about suburban area, right? In the suburban area, since we agreed that Monrovia has very good, beautiful zoning laws. But these laws are no longer holding because the city is overpopulated.
Yeah,
So
I think that's why it's not holding.
Okay, so you
I think
you will explain that part why it's not holding later.
So I will go into it a bit.
So
I think the rule of law got damaged after the 14-year crisis.
Okay.
And then for us to come back to re-educating our public, there's a gap in between information dissemination in the mindset of the public.
And then population also. The public. You just agree that population also.
The public, the general public do not understand the benefits that you are telling them about. So most of our outreach is about telling people about the law and how you are to build your structure. So for example, now we have something called public complaints. Okay. So because of the lack of I don't want to say awareness, because some of them know. Some people actually know, and they intentionally do that. They will ask you when government will get ready.
Yeah, that's true.
They will say that. You see people tell you to your face when government will get ready. So it's because that maybe because I'm from the government, I don't want to use any term that I'll be held in contempt for or something. But I want to say for sure that the first issue is if we as a people must transcend from what we're doing now to properly lay out our community, we must have total respect for the rule of law. That's the first thing.
So while having total respect for the rule of law, so my question I was putting to you is that I would say the zoning laws is already failed in Monrovia.
I don't think it's failed.
Yeah, it is.
I can tell you
it is. The reason why I'm saying this,
I don't think it's
because
failed.
It is. I can give you lots of areas where people have violated. It comes on the sidewalk to include their fence in the sidewalk. So that also has to do with zoning.
So I will answer your question.
Sewage line.
So for example, right? For example, so
you are going to give me the time.
No. Okay, so
you are going to listen
because it's not under Ministry of Public Works.
Yeah.
Soil is under water and soil.
And zoning also work with water and soil.
So soil is not under water and soil. So for example, we were having issue in 2016 that we established a group called the Infrastructure Working Group to resolve some of the issues that we're having that were interrelated functions. For example, the LEC lines that are planted, some of them are planted, sometimes are in the wrong positions.
You mean the eastman?
The LEC lines, the utility lines, the distribution lines. Yeah. They're in the wrong position. Sometimes when they see the LEC line, they say LEC finish passing the line, the alley stops here. Okay. They don't understand that the road has reserved.
So that means the LEC, the water and sewer,
all of them should be in the road reserve. And zoning so we did a group called infrastructure working group some years back to cut down the problem, the overlapping the functions, and to have a one synchronized group where we can work as a team to solve for infrastructure development purposes. And then another thing with the fence, right?
Are you living in land sales area?
It's also, they were part of the group, so it incorporate all government technical arm, including fire services.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of the day, what happened was we worked on certain modalities to have everything cocktail and then have a synchronized function. So for example, if you want to apply if you want a solar line connection, whatever, so we have to write public works to have that connection. Public works have to be there. You have to get the actual vendor.
That is for Monrovia now.
So replace the quota. But there's no solar line outside of Monrovia.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say to you, or I'm trying to put this question to you. All right. The suburban area of Monrovia, right? Now that they are opening, or most of them have already opened, we did not put more emphasis on implementing the zoning policy to this community, wherein you open alleys before people go and build.
So
you have the land, people selling land and tell you that it's 10 feet.
People get it wrong.
That's why we need zoning to come strong.
So actually, when you say about opening the alleys before you start to sell a land, it's not on the government. Land in Liberia is not for the government. The government gave land out to individuals. So you as an individual, before you sell your property, you should. That's why on your deed, the grantor.
Are you telling me that government do not have power over people that sell land, and government give
the government
permit?
gave you right
Okay.
to sell your land. So for example, some land are ancestral land.
Okay.
They are selling now. So the person had 200 acres or 2,000 acres 1958.
Okay.
And they had to sell it. The law requires you that when you're selling the portion of the land, you should provide an access for the person you're selling the land to. I'll come into the story because that's what the problem we're facing
So
now.
what about due diligence
So
to...
let me explain to you.
Yeah.
The person who's selling the land has a family surveyor. I'm telling you the problem that is happening now.
Okay.
You have bought land, you know definitely the person will come a family surveyor.
A lot.
And there are several things that we have to expose on this television so people can understand.
Okay.
Some of the surveyors now have cut tip.
Okay.
Recently, I was doing an investigation in Dwas, and they saw somebody 258 feet of land on one dimension. We want to go measure the land hasn't reached 200.
Okay.
The actual measurement.
They put different information on the
On the
paper.
deed, different measurement on the ground. The second thing is, they gave the land to you. So most of the problem we have from the zoning in now, they will sell the land to Martina in 1986. The road was 50 feet. Shola, you bought land, the road is 30 foot in 2008 or 1998. She bought 86, you bought 2008, 30 foot. Milky, I think I heard his name. You'll call it too many times, so I have to pick it. Milkman. Bought land around the 2000.
I got so much property around.
They tell him 25 foot. I can buy land in 2020. They tell me say no road.
So that's where my problem is.
The problem is not with the zoning office because
Who should regulate? Is it not zoning?
no.
Why?
The problem is with the person who's the onus is upon the person who's selling the land to provide the people with access.
Then if you're gonna
So
leave,
the people.
if you're gonna leave that with them,
So I mean, I
That
feel
will
like,
have
so
no
there's
connectivity.
there's a law that will overshadow their function afterwards.
that's what we want to see in
So
being
I'm coming
implemented.
so I'm coming to you. If you let me learn to explain to the public because I think that information will give the public.
I
here.
have so much question coming to me on
So
this
no,
issue.
yeah. So if the
People are
public, let me
watching.
learn to get the public information. So I will come back to the law because it's a statute of public works. So after you purchase your land, the person should provide you an access. But if the person refuses to provide you an access, then the statute of public works under the Constitution, chapter 27, D says to build, maintain, and construct roads. So if you do not provide the access for the people, public works will come in and enforce an access.
So if the person is providing an asset, right? And sometimes the person just gives 10 feet that your car can pass through.
So that's what I'm saying.
Is it up to standard?
No,
So
the
that's
law.
what the problem
no,
is.
that's what I'm saying. If the person who's selling the land failed to follow the regulation to provide an access,
So what is the minimum?
public works will come in. The law says an access cannot be greater less than 26 feet.
Okay. So
So it's clear.
So looking at modernization, somebody
So
asked
I
me
will
this
tell you
question
that
for you.
I will tell you that there are several cases that I've investigated across the country for ALEC investigation that I have provided access where there was no access.
So if you provide access and leave outside wall, how can you handle that?
So the role we say the standard was so when writing our report will tell you the standard note.
Okay.
The standard width of a street is 30 foot.
Okay.
Any community I go in, he says Josiah was here, Josiah didn't work here, will tell you say the road at 34th
So
Street.
if you give
The reason why we say 34th Street is because
yeah,
one lane of a road is 12 feet.
yeah,
To make the road 2 lane is 24.
yeah.
A sideway and a drainage owner is 3 feet, 3 feet. We keep 34th Street.
That applies to a residential community,
Of
right?
course, it's residential community.
So if you take out you go out of the residential
So
community.
under the law also, when we go into the
what would be
community,
the allocation?
we will no resident
Outside
residential
residential.
community. So they have several road classification in Maroon. That's another thing the public don't know.
People don't know it. So people want to know.
Road classification in Liberia is different. Primary road is 150 feet.
That's right.
You are aware of that?
Yeah.
Secondary road is 75 feet. So the road that leaves from a county capital into a district should be 75 foot.
So you also agree that even in terms of sidewalk, there are various types of sidewalk. They have single pedestrian and
Of course, when you depending on road design.
some areas in the community, you don't have 2 pedestrian passing each other. You have that's where the walking aspect comes in terms of jaywalking. So if you design a community for one person a pavement, and then on the other side, the opposite, and then in the other community you have 2 pedestrian passing each other. So we're not working in that direction. That's my point.
So how many communities we have that have paved road? Let's go to that matter first.
I mean,
so
all the communities.
No, all the communities don't have paved road.
No, I said should be.
Yes, so
All
that's what I'm
communities should be
saying.
paved.
So when we started this discussion, we're discussing that. I said over 75%
Okay, I
of our road network, whether urban or rural, is
trying
paved.
to rush you to protect you.
She's not protecting me. I'm protecting myself. I'm seeing now. We said it. More than 75% of our road network are unpaved.
Hey,
meaning we have a problem nationally that we have to address.
Definitely.
Okay, Tess,
So
I leave you with her. So you, because I know it's getting heated here.
no, it's not heated though.
Tess,
The
come on.
discussion is
Say something because you people.
Okay, I've been kind of smiling, like here you are now having this discussion with so much passion, and then you don't want to dive into the topic.
Oh no,
initially.
I think it's because of the level of experience that I've had
Yeah.
working for the last 7 years, almost 7 years now.
Yes, only.
August 25th is maybe since 2015 December I was appointed as acting. In April the following year I was appointed full director. So since then I've been working in Zuni. So I know I can tell you off my head. So for example, when I took over first, I had over 200 complaints for public complaints on Ali investigation, on how the community was encroached by Ali. Even when we're working on a national road, the national road. So for example, we pay for several roads, but so that issues that's why I said I don't want to dive into other issues to take us away from road infrastructure, because by itself, the topic on zoning is a national outcry. People have their grievances that they have to express on how we not how access, how people are constructing the road. And one of the things I like to say to people is, nobody has your country interest I have except for you.
Sure.
People are just, I can tell people, some people are just plain selfish. Because some of them will build their homes and intentionally build their homes on the property line. Then they need car access, they need space to park their cars. Then they put the stairs on the road.
Okay.
So it's intentional. And we as Liberians, that's the problem people have with us. We are not patriotic. It will never be somebody who is aware of zoning law in Ghana or somewhere else do it. And somebody will be surprised when the people do it. The people who you think are novice will not be the ones to do it. The common man will say back. But people you have high expectation for, who you think are the big bosses, they are the ones that can be deliberately doing some things that you don't expect them to do.
People you have high expectation for,
I'm saying
they are the ones
sometimes
most time
be deliberate.
Deliberately.
So I'm not going to go into names because
So
it's not a zoning topic.
you right there.
But we're on infrastructure development, road
We're going to
infrastructure.
hold you right there and we'll get back. We're going to discuss straight on road connectivity.
Thank you.
We're going to take our break. If you just joining us, this is Bit by Bit show on Boss TV, Satcom Channel 4. If you just joining us, follow us on Facebook.
by bit.
Oh yes, it's bit by bit.
It is a professional discussion that talks about issues, happenings that improves or strengthens the capabilities of
Individuals such as the engineers, the doctors, the Zogos, the Zogis, and our youth in our community.
institutions like the educational sector, the health sector, and the economy as a whole.
The society, agriculture, travel, and the industrial society.
Human rights and democracy.
Trust me, it's
Bit by
bit.
bit.
Thanks. Why are you laughing? You know, I always told you whenever we have female guests, you can be so protective of them. I don't seem to like that. You know. But anyway, this is a bit by bit show. We always discuss a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
We discussed a little bit of swim
And
right
now we're about to discuss a little bit of road connectivity in Liberia.
Yeah.
Thanks. How do you look at road connectivity in Liberia? You're gonna explain a little bit, 1 minute, and then we're gonna get to our guests too.
I don't think the road connectivity in Liberia is really good. I think the government really need to improve on a lot of.
Because I know you don't have road access.
Imagine me. My house is now far from the road, but I don't even have Google correct to my house direction. It's not like the road is not there, like, you know, you see
I
the
understand,
diagrams of everything.
I
It's
understand.
already shown board.
Yeah,
You're not just connecting.
So, VP, just Leah, what do you have to say about our road connectivities in Liberia since
I think
your...
during my opening statement, I said two things. I said roads are capital intensive.
An improvement?
Roads and infrastructure are capital intensive. So one of the things that I think as a people we can dive into is public-private partnership.
Okay.
And joint community ventures. So I think I've seen it in Freetown, that the communities, when you do your house, you do the drains in front of your house, and then you can do the certain section of your house.
Same thing in Ghana.
Same thing in Ghana. People do that in other African countries to help to improve their road networks in their neighborhoods. Because, for example, I know that in Liberia, 1 kilometer of road is around $750,000. So if you and I can put that amount to the amount of neighborhoods that we have, even myself don't have a paved road leading to my community. So if we can put that amount in actual picture to look at into our different communities, then you will see the reality of our lives as Liberians, how the infrastructure development, how much infrastructure development when it comes to road network is needed. Road is just not for you and I to commute, but it also brings about economic improvement in the community. So every community that has road network, you see the community, the property value for those houses in those areas increases. So it has its own economic improvement. Besides that, access to health facility, so you can easily drive from your house on speed to go, because. And we saw what happened during the Ebola crisis because of lack of road networks. A lot of people die in their homes because of lack of road network. So as a country, we have that huge deficit when it comes to road infrastructure. And it's critical. And we cannot put all our eggs, that people can say, in one basket.
Yeah.
Definitely.
While it's true, road is expensive, multilateral donor partners, and national budget. But national budget itself cannot sustain the road project. You're seeing with the road fund issue, the road maintenance, all of those things. Road maintenance itself is costly because almost all our roads were done in the 70s, 80s, and now it needs complete overlay after 10 years. He's an engineer, he understands what I'm saying, after overlay after some years. But then the cost to do these things are quite expensive for national budget. So for example, if you take from Douala to Tottenham Brother 45 kilometers,
Yeah.
and multiply it by
750,000.
So imagine that almost $30 to $31 million. Yeah, that the reality people don't grasp. So you hear everybody complaining that, oh, the road not paved, the road not this. But then we cannot continue to take World Bank loan on high interest rate and put the unborn generation into future another problem that's not going to be future debt that we don't even know how we're going to move on those things. So now you see the problem. So what can we do as a country is to have, okay, so let's say so the road itself pay for itself. That's another way. So you see when you go into Freetown, a lot of people now want to go to Freetown for weekends.
Yeah.
So but on Freetown, when you get into Freetown, just like you have to pay for the toll for the road they're doing from
Liberia, we just want a free thing.
From Bo to Freetown.
Yeah.
So you have to pay a toll. So, but in Liberia, by the time you say something that requires people to pay towards it, everybody have a problem.
And make it political.
Yes, it becomes an issue. And the people are doing this and the people are doing that. But they do not understand that the government itself cannot contribute to everything. Why they have to invest in education, they have to invest in health, they have to invest in water and sanitation, they have to invest in electricity. So you cannot do everything with your meager resources, and then you in rural networks you can't sustain a rural network.
So you said something in your statement right now, and somebody is watching just send me a text. They say, "How should your guest ask a question? Building a road is not something that government can do easily. So how can we do that?" This is my tip. Please tell your guests. My suggestion is that the same way government is taking few little cents from everybody's salary for road fund, we can do the same in terms of taking a percentage from our salary, maybe 500
entity that has the authority to remove the structure is Ministry of Public Works.
Okay.
Thanks. So sorry, no time. Well, I'm listening to you.
It's okay. I really wanted to go much into that topic of which we were just discussing.
Road connectivities.
Yeah, I've seen a lot in Sierra Leone, like she mentioned. Individuals sometimes, take the responsibility, go out to public work and they do the street. At the end of the day, their names are even
Placed on the street.
being placed on the street. So
Okay.
I was just about to
So
say that.
there's something important that I wanted to say as that I wrote down, something that I wanted to say here for infrastructure development. And
You want
I
to say it
think,
for the public?
yes, it's for the public use. I think as a nation, for us to improve in infrastructure development, I jot down 4 points. One is to think about how we can encourage more national budget support to the Ministry of Public Works on road issue and multilateral support to the Ministry of Public Works on road issue, on road connectivity and road as an infrastructure. And secondly, road infrastructure does not only mean the road itself, though, but because there's bus stop, there's terminal facilities, those stop points along the road for people to rest and bathe and
Fire hydrant.
all those things are road
public
infrastructure.
toilets.
So
Yeah.
public toilets along the road, these are all road infrastructure. So it requires all of those things. So there's one thing, they support national support. The second thing is for us to, as a nation, see how best we can involve in PPP, public-private partnership, and dive more into that the road itself will be able to pay for itself. That's the only way we can improve our national road networks. And they said the third issue is for us to have a national drive when it comes to human capital.
So national drive when it comes to human capital.
Human capital.
You know already things. I'm gonna give you the time to give your closing statement, and then we'll get back to our guests with a closing statement because we don't have time.
Thank you to her for educating us on this platform, and I want to say thank you to those who are watching us. This program have really been educative while it lasted. So thanks again.
You're welcome, Martina.
So back to you.
So
Your closing statement.
Women participation in engineering has been a bare rack for the Ministry of Public Works. Today we have a female who is the minister. We have an assistant minister and a past assistant minister who is also a female minister, Margaret Sassy, Minister Costello Killen, former Minister Antoinette Weeks, and there are other road engineers, women who have supervised construction projects when it comes to road as an infrastructure. And while it's true that we also have women who are working with LEC, I think LEC just had a major program for the females that are working with them, the electrical engineers. And we are in all sectors trying our best to contribute to the national growth and development. On that note, road as an infrastructure is our primary goal as a nation, and it's good for economic development. But as a country, we must dive into other means of support for road infrastructure, and we should also invest in human capitals to have the requisite team needed to carry out road construction. Thank you for having me, Shole.
You heard what she said. She was very intelligent, smart, and serious in explaining about female participation in engineering. This is all what we have time for. This is a Bit by Bit show on Boss TV. You can watch it on Satcom Channel 4. I want to give thanks to the technical crew out there. See you when we see you.
Bit by bit.
Oh yes, it's bit by bit.